All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra Esinamap, and as always, I'm here for business. Now, for the third time this year, Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee has kept its key lending rate unchanged at 16%. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, says although some the threat actually still remained, the outlook for the economy was quite favorable, hence the decision to hold the rate. He, however, expects the finance minister to use the mid-year review to deal with some challenges with revenue.
Addressing journalists after meeting to review the health of the economy, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, noted that there are still some uncertainties in the market and he wants to monitor them closely before he reacts. He also added that the Bank of Ghana is so far satisfied with how the commercial banks have responded to the policy rate cuts in terms of reducing their interest rates.
I think to some extent, yes, the market is responding. If you look at the Ghana reference rate, which is really the base rate for all banks in Ghana, just by the statistical relationship with the policy rate, you do see the movement in the Ghana reference rate.
On the Ghana cedi, the governor of the Bank of Ghana noted that the outlook is fairly stable despite recent challenges. The governor maintained that the recent cleanup of the banking sector has indeed helped to restore confidence in the sector and improve the livelihood of those who saved with the commercial banks. The country's total debt stock has reached 200 billion Ghana cedis, but the governor says he's indeed worried about this development.
I don't think we should shy away from the view that there are vulnerabilities. This is really what the discussion should be about. If you have quite a bit of external debt stock and you have significant non-resident holdings of your debt, you are vulnerable to.
ECOWAS has set 2020 for the introduction of the single monetary currency, that is the eco. But the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, notes that it might be early days yet to comment about the country's preparedness. The mid-year budget review will be presented on July 29. The governor has said that he is hopeful the finance minister will come up with some measures to deal with challenges facing revenue mobilization.
Still on the lending rate, banking consultant Nano Champo has described the policy rate maintenance as prudent. He spoke with George Yafe.
I think the decision is on the basis of caution. They're being cautious. But above all is the issue of the SNL, the Savings and Loan Company. It hasn't been resolved. And within the banking sector, they connect with the others. And therefore, I think the caution is predicated by this decision or the problem with the savings and loans. So until they are able to resolve that, they want to stay on the side of caution.
When I asked the question and the governor was talking about the pass-through effect, I've seen some significant reduction and even maintenance, but I'm still yet to feel the impact in terms of cost of credit. Do you think that a lot more can be done, or policy rate is not enough to cause a shift in these rates that these banks are charging businesses?
Yeah. Well, the pass-through effect, the transmission rate previously we were saying is usually slower. On the other hand, if you see that since January, we've had this reduction and maintained it from 17 to 16%. One would have thought 6 months is enough time. But the reform has also brought a lot of regulatory impetus on the banks, and therefore they are having also to be very cautious. So reducing the interest rate from around 32 to 27% is a move, but to you and I, it could be better. And so I think we got to give them a little bit more time to see the pass-through effect.
Meanwhile, the mid-year budget review has been postponed for the third time to July 29. This was due to the inability of some members of the minority in Parliament to be around for the presentation. The Deputy Majority Leader, Adjoa Safo, announced this today in Parliament. So the Finance Minister will be expected in Parliament on Monday, July 29 for that presentation. To other stories now, President of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Insurance of Ghana, Asante Mafo Ahenkra, has urged local and smaller insurance firms to engage the National Insurance Commission, the NIC, on how to meet the new minimal capital requirement. According to him, the NIC is open for engagement on measures to avoid insurance firms closing down for not meeting the requirements. His call follows directive by the NIC for all insurance companies to increase their capital requirements by next year or lose their license.
I've seen that the NIC has given some time and to the players in the industry to try to make up that capital. Some of them have already met those capital. Some of them, by way of growing, they have some accumulated funds that they transfer to their capital. So for most of them, I think that they would be able to meet that standard. Having said that, I'm also conscious that there are some indigenous companies that may not have that kind of money. Well, I think that as a people, we have to engage the Commission, and the companies also have to engage the public to see how they can raise some funds. What we've realized, that most Ghanaians want to keep businesses to themselves, and they don't open up.
Coming up, this is a compilation of some local headline stories.
Sale of 2020/21 cocoa beans from Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire has resumed. It follows the cancellation of a suspension that was enforced by the two countries on June 11, 2019. A communique from the cocoa sector regulators in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire has stated. The Association of Finance Houses has asked the Bank of Ghana to grant financial institutions sufficient time as they seek to implement the lessons learned from the recent cleanup in the banking sector. This, is said, would give them ample time to plan in order to meet the regulators' requirements. Parliament has approved a request to waive import duties, import VAT, get fund levy, import NHIL, Exim levy, and other imposts amounting to $222,151 on equipment to be procured by Yedent Agro-Processing Limited. The waiver of the taxes on the equipment to be acquired by the company is in line with government's policy under the implementation of the One District, One Factory program.
Thanks so much for watching. I have more business news after 8 p.m. Hello again, you're still watching Joy News Prime. My name is Sandra Esenamapin. Let's do the second half of business. Now, President of the Ghana Hotels Association, Dr. Edward Akanyameka Jr., is stressing the need for government to support the training of members in the hospitality industry to improve the sector's global competitiveness. This comes during a workshop on the customer service experience in the hospitality industry organized by the Ghana Hotel Association in the Greater Accra region.
Under the heading Customer Service in the Hospitality Industry, the conference brought together members from Ghana's hospitality industry and the Nigerian hospitality industry to discuss ways of delivering excellent customer service to clients as well as generally improving the hospitality industry. Speaking to Joy Business, President for the Ghana Hotels Association said training was key in improving service delivery.
We have identified the source of that challenge, which is basically training, and that is why, as much as we get opportunity, we try to look for ways to provide such training to our members and the industry as a whole. At the moment, we are even in the program with the ILO, taking us through what they call the hospitality coaching. We are putting effort to provide training, and this is where we also count on the ministry or the GTA to support us when we request for such training programs. So.
Meanwhile, President of the Hotels Association of Nigeria, Ogun State, Chief Shegun Timi, called for collaboration between the two organizations in order to benefit from the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
There's no way you will have free trade and do away with the hospitality industry. There's no way. Free trade requires foreigners coming in to invest, and they will have to stay in the hotels, and you have to provide good services to them. You have to provide good facilities to them, and we have to step up our games, right, to provide all this. That's why we want to. That's why we want to come into cooperation with the Ghana Hoteliers Association, so that at least let us do something for Ghana and Nigeria.
For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
GT Bank and remittance giants Ria Money Transfer and ZPay have launched a new transfer service to drive the financial inclusion agenda dubbed Ria to Mobile. The service allows Ria customers to send mobile money directly into beneficial mobile money wallets across Ghana. Charles Aite has more on this new service.
As the demand for mobile money services deepen, traditional banks are racing against time with innovative products that will drive financial inclusion and make banking services more competitive. It is for this reason that GC Bank has partnered remittance giants Raya and ZPay to outdoor a new transfer service. Known as a Raya to Mobile, the platform allows transfer services to all mobile money wallets in Ghana. Leopold Amar is the Assistant General Manager and Divisional Head for Digital Banking and Alliances for GT Bank.
Collaboration with entities that sometimes we perceive as competitors, but would come to collaborate with the sole aim of providing utmost services to the public. So this is a space that we are going to invest more into, and we are going to put a lot of energy into it. And we'll continue looking at various nodes that have gaps that must be filled with digitalization. We are looking at public services. We've looked closely at international remittance. This is the second one we are launching. We did with MoneyGram, and this is the RIA. We are looking at other international money transfer services.
Head of Financial Services at the Finance Ministry, Samson Akiliko, urged financial institutions, especially traditional banks, to embrace innovations in the financial market. He entreated sector players to take advantage of fintechs to avoid being kicked out of the financial market.
Financial services is going to shift. We don't have to pretend that banks are going to have branches. Even mobile finance companies will continue to have branches. And what we are going to see is that the shift is going to be towards technology and fintech. And all the things that I have mentioned to you is a strong commitment from us to see how we can support that. So really, the future is what this engagement represents. And I look forward to us making sure that that future is consolidated in a way that we can benefit.
In 2018, an estimated $3 billion was remitted into Ghana, which is more than earnings from gold and cocoa.
Crude oil sold for $62.05 a barrel. Gold went for $1,425.24 an ounce. The commodity news is up next. Thanks for your time all week on Business with me, Sandra S. And I'm up in the small news on myjawline.com/business. Enjoy your weekend.